right. Hello. Welcome in everybody in Facebook Landia, everybody in YouTube Landia, everybody in Tejano TV Landia. So those of you that are watching live, hello, welcome. And also anybody who's watching us afterwards, you can see us on Facebook, you can see us on YouTube, and you can also watch us on Tejano TV, where you have a Roku TV. We have a Roku channel, and the channel is actually under Tejano TV. It's Giras y Desveladas, so we can see you there too. Thank you from wherever you're watching. Today we have a special guest, and the reason he is so special, especially to me, and as you all know who have watched my shows, I like to put the link of how I know this person. I don't actually know this person. I've met you. I met you at the Tejano Legend Pioneers breakfast. Saludos to everybody at Tejano Legend Pioneers. La Lorena, hope you're doing well. Everybody out there, saludos. Um, but what struck me the most is that you are the son of Juan H. Barron, a very well known songwriter and musician. And as you well know, or those of you who might not know, I am also the daughter of a musician, songwriter, well known. We've heard his songs. If you don't, look them up because they're there. So, welcome to the show, Mr. Carlos H. Barron. And
Thank you.
I would like to give you a chance to say hello and tell us who you are.
What's up, guys? My name is, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm super excited. You have such a wonderful platform. You're pushing Tejano music and music in general. So that's awesome. So thank you for giving me this spot and this time. Carlos H. Barron, as long as I can remember, singing and performing has been part of my life. I'm going to speak Spanish and English. Yo desde chico, para mí el cantar, el expresarme en el escenario era normal. ¿Por qué? Porque mi papá, pues desde chiquito que yo me acuerdo, mi papá falleció cuando yo tenía 10 años, pero yo recuerdo muchas veces que mi papá me decía, ¿sabes qué? Me voy a ir de gira, quiero que te aprendas esto. So, para mí el cantar, expresarme, la música, todo eso ha sido parte de mi vida. Algo completamente normal. Así como, no sé, un doctor, su papá va al hospital a ayudar gente, o un abogado va a la escuela y el hijo hace lo mismo. Para mí, la música, el cantar, componer, ha sido algo natural para mí. Y pues, I'm here again. I'm going back at it. I'm performing. Writing songs. I'm just doing my best to get myself out there and to bring my dad's name back, because I think that he deserves, I know he has recognition, but I felt that as a son, that it's my duty to do my best to get myself out there so that his name can rise once again. So that's kind of one of my personal goals that I have.
Yes, and that's where we have the connection where when my father passed away in 2022, you feel the need.
Yeah.
I felt the need to keep him alive. And that's the wonderful thing about our parents being musicians, is that even if they are not physically alive with us, because they were musicians and they made music, we can keep their music alive. And that is so wonderful. Now, I want to do a little shout out to, what is it? David Dominguez, if I'm not mistaken, from La Bravata. And he did actually a documentary on your dad. Let me try to share that. Of course, my middle name is Technical Difficulties. So I'm going to try and do this as seamlessly as possible. And show a little bit of what he had.
El 10 de septiembre de 1972, una fecha muy trágica para los Cachorros. Terminando un concierto.
Oh, yeah, I mentioned that. I can't get into my paid YouTube account, so we're gonna see some. Let me skip this. All right. Yes. Sorry, guys.
cierto, en la carretera sufren un accidente, donde un transporte de cadereita embistió al vehículo de los cachorros de frente, perdiendo la vida José María Villarreal, hermano de Juan Villarreal. En 1973 Juan integra a Valdemar García del conjunto Los Grandes Dos. Para rearmar la agrupación bajo el nombre...
So that's just para todos que están interesados, y muchas gracias a David Domínguez, el show La Bravata, también un podcast que es muy... Me encanta, ya I subscribe to that because es mucha información, y hablamos, we talked about this, Carlos and I, do we speak Spanish, do we speak English? And we decided, well, we speak both, so let's just do what naturally comes to us. Y el español, aunque para nuestros amigos sur de el Río Bravo, que no han de saber que no hay educación formal para el idioma de español aquí en los Estados Unidos. Es más, tiempo para atrás, en la época de mi mamá y mi papá, no estaban permitidos hablar español, su lengua natal de su madre, sus padres, sus abuelos. Entonces se pierde ese idioma. Y entonces lo que se escucha aquí, aunque muchos le hablan Spanish, Tex-Mex, lo que tú quieras, it's a local dialect, es el idioma de esta región, que se combina el inglés y en español. Entonces, si nos atoramos en español, le metemos el inglés. Si nos atoramos en inglés, le metemos el español. Y nada más nosotros nos entendemos. Si alguien monolingüe en inglés, no nos va a entender. Alguien monolingüe en español, tampoco nos va a entender. Y disculpas desde una vez si me escuchan diciendo palabras que dices, ¿qué dijo? Pues es que estoy hablando Spanglish y nada más, entre nosotros nos entendemos.
Así es.
Sí, entonces para nuestros amigos sur del Río Bravo, que aquí estamos, yo vivo aquí en Mission, que es como unos 5 minutos norte del Río Grande, del border. Y esa historia de tu papá se me hizo muy, pero súper interesante, porque mencionan que en la bravata tu papá era baterista, ¿verdad? He played the drums.
Sí.
Y estaba reconocido por su estilo cuando estaba tocando con los cachorros, nombres grandes, tocó con los cachorros y con quién más. I think I have some pictures here.
Tocó con los cachorros, con Ramón Ayala, con el grupo Ternura, Roberto Pulido, pero en sus inicios, cuando la historia está padre, porque mi papá tenía 13 años y mi mamá me dice que mi papá a los 13 años, los cachorros tenían unas audiciones y le hacían falta un músico, un baterista. Y me cuenta mi mamá que mi papá agarró su tarola, sus palos, y fue para Reynosa, de Monterrey a Reynosa. Llegó a Reynosa con el instrumento y obviamente mi papá tenía 13 años. Y pienso que Juan Villarreal, los demás, José, todos tenían sus 19, 20 años por ahí. Y pues vieron a un niño. Y le dicen, pues déjalo, vino de Monterrey, déjalo que él Alex. Y pues a los 13 años agarró la batería y pues se quedó el baterista de Torros. Y mi papá, un gran talento. O sea, para los 13 años, para mí es algo increíble, porque para los 13 años ya tener la experiencia de tocar con un grupo de ese nivel profesional a los 13 años, que te dice que eso significa que para los 10 años mi papá ya estaba tocando. Así que es increíble, tiene una historia tan hermosa y es una historia que para mí significa mucho, y también para el público, porque pienso que mucha gente se identifica con él, de que tuvo un sueño y yo sé que falleció. He passed away at 38, tenía 38 años cuando él falleció. Hizo tanto en su carrera corta corta y larga porque empezó de bien joven.
Sí.
Pero tuvo con los Cachorros de 13 años hasta los 18 por ahí, y luego alternó Ramón Ayala y Cachorros en un concierto, y me cuenta de que Ramón Ayala le ofreció más dinero a mi papá, y mi papá dejó los Cachorros, así como me la contó mi mamá, y se fue con Ramón Ayala y tocó con Ramón Ayala muchos discos, y pues es una baterista increíble, o sea, tiene lo que es lo norteño, pero mi papá, my dad would listen to a lot of jazz. Escuchaba mucho jazz y mi papá ensayaba, yo me acuerdo de chiquito, él ensayaba por 6, 7, 8 horas en un cuarto. Mi mamá le traía de comer, boom, y él seguía ensayando. Así que estoy bien orgulloso de mi papá.
¿Quién no? Tiene una gran historia y and like I said, I had heard about your dad through my dad. He reconocido el nombre, nomás escuchas Juan H. Barron y se sabe, at least through me and through my dad. Yo conocía su nombre. I don't know if they knew each other. I'm sure they did. Especially, sí. Now, lo que me interesa más que nada. You know what? Antes, deja saludos a todos los que están saludando. And thank you for everybody watching. Mary Lou, my sister, buenas tardes, hola. Giselle Barron,
mi hermana,
saludos. That's a pretty name, Giselle. Francesca Montalvo Hernández, saludos. Sadie Hernández, saludos. And thank you all for watching and sharing. Giselle también, she's sharing. Thank you so much, guys. Again, lo que if it hadn't been for la bravata, Francesca Montalvo Hernandez says, hi, hello. So, but that documentary, it's a documentary, un documental de tu padre, me conocí los detalles, ¿verdad? Los detalles y son impresionantes. Más que nada, para los que ya han visto mi show, comencé porque pues mi papá hablaba de sus giras y desveladas y nunca lo grabé. Así es que cuando se me fue, pensé, bueno, deja hacerlo con sus amigos, con todos los de que él hablaba y sus hermanos en la música, ¿verdad? Porque al fin de cuentas somos familia en la música, pues que es algo que nos une de corazón. Y entonces comencé un plan de nomás escuchar las giras y desveladas. Comenzó a hacer la historia de la música tejana. Mi papá era un pionero de la música tejana y es lo que descubrí, que es tu papá también, y ahorita te voy a explicar cómo fue. Entonces yo entrevistado a los amigos de mi papá, que es Armando Choro Hinojosa de Fabulosos 4, Roberto Pulido, Carlos Guzmán, Eri Pérez,
pura leyenda.
Paul Westbrook, que era ingeniero de Barron Records. Saludos to Paul Westbrook, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So I noticed one thing when they were talking about your dad, and they were talking about, as you mentioned, he was influenced by jazz, his style. It was a new style that he was bringing into norteño. Now, what I was seeing there, that él era uno de los, he was like a link between lo que era el norteño and when Tejano was being created, that, he was influenced by Latin breed, and, so that's what we have been talking about, that Tejano is exactly that. We're Americans of Mexican descent. We are influenced by the Mexican culture, not so much as the American culture, depending on, if you're first generation, second generation, third, and so forth. And your dad was an integral part. He was in both sides.
Yeah.
Con los Cachorros y Norteño, y luego también acá con Roberto Pulido y todos esos. Talk to us about that.
Mi papá, entre más yo he estudiado su carrera y he visto los grupos donde él ha tocado, he visto los grupos donde él ha escrito canciones, y te das cuenta que mi papá era una persona súper versátil. He was extremely versatile. He would play norteño, he played jazz, he played tejano, ranchero, So, él era una persona que con tanta creatividad que él tenía que expresarse. So, cuando él tocó con Ramón Ayala y los Cachorros, si tú escuchas esos discos, pues se oye la influencia de mi papá, se escucha, o sea, no puedes negar que Juan H. Barron estaba en la batería, porque de los arreglos a las canciones que él escribió, porque Ramón Ayala le grabó muchas canciones como Amor Vaquero, Mira, mira mi sufrir, muchas rolas que buenísimas que grabó Ramón, y escuchas el grupo y se oyen fenomenales. O sea, they sound amazing. As a band, it's incredible. So, siempre está el sello de Juan H. Barron en cada grupo donde él estaba. Cuando estuvo con Cachorros, se escucha también. Ramón Ayala, como acabo de decir, también entró con Ternura. Ahí es donde brincó y tocó Tejano, que era Arturo Montes y grupo Ternura. Estuve un rato y también mi papá cantaba. So, hacía segundas a Arturo Montes y también le grabó muchas canciones. Wow. También Roberto Pulido. Se me hace que hay un disco de Roberto que casi todas las canciones del disco son de mi papá.
Wow.
Y se oye, o sea, así que mi papá era una persona que, o sea, mucha gente lo han criticado. He visto que en la bravata le ponen ahí, porque dicen, ¿por qué tu papá tuvo que andar de grupo en grupo? Pero si te pones a analizar el tipo de talento que él tenía, es de que él tenía, ¿cómo vas a dejar a una persona en un lugar cuando él quiere brillar en otras partes? ¿Verdad?
Yeah.
Así que it's incredible, you know, with La Mafia, he produced La Mafia in, I think, a couple of La Mafia recorded a lot of his songs also. So he just was, he was an innovator, and it's wonderful to see that and to hear it.
It's incredible, and I was floored by everything that I was listening about him, because he was, como quien dice, como nosotros decimos, ni de allá ni de acá, pero él era de allá y acá, al revés.
No. Es una de las pocas personas que hizo eso, porque vino de Monterrey, vivía en Monterrey, y luego se vino a los Estados Unidos y aquí se quedó, se hizo amigo de mucha gente, Hugo de la Cruz, muchos radio personalities he became friends of. O sea, todo el mundo lo conocía, o sea, lo que era norteño y lo tejano. Sí, bien padre.
Sí. Let me see. Paul Westbrook says, hola, saludos, Paul Westbrook. He says, now can we have all that in English, por favor? I don't know if you missed that part, Paul. We decided that we're gonna be natural with our conversations, which means we're gonna be going back and forth. So we'll try to translate as much as possible, but
Paul, what we just said is that my dad was very versatile. He was able to play jazz, tejano, norteño, and he was a person that was just very creative. And he was creative in Monterrey, in Mexico. He was creative in the States, and his creativity needed to be exposed. So that's what we said. Shout out to Paul Westbrook. Thank you so much, Paul. Real quick, Paul Westbrook plays a big role in my life. I met Paul right when I wanted to start singing again. I feel he was God sent. I had been praying. This sounds a little strange, but I was praying that I needed to find something or someone that can link me back into singing. And Paul showed up. I used to have a business. Paul showed up and he says, hey, I like the way you sing. I have this one song. I think you would sound great. And the magic started. So he became my producer, and I'm very happy that I have met him and continue to work with him. So that's amazing. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul Westbrook. And if anybody who doesn't know, Paul Westbrook, well-known, I've interviewed Paul Westbrook as well. He was the engineer at Falcon Records, where a lot of this beginnings of Tejano was going on. So, it's amazing. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Let me saludos a Tina Martinez. Good morning. Blessings. Hi, Tina. And who else? Albert Cuyo Ramírez, el mejor baterista de todo el tiempo. Mi amigo Juan H. Barron, lo mejor de los mejores. Saludos, Mr. Albert Cuyo Ramírez.
Yes.
And Hilda Medina Garza says saludos. Saludos to everybody coming in. Thank you for watching the show. Now, what you mentioned that you wanted to start again, and I'm gonna put this up. Let me see if I can find it. Um, it didn't go up. I was having technical difficulties. So
Okay.
there's a picture. There's a picture where you mentioned that I put it up for the promo, where you say that you had kind of lost touch with your goals. You had signed.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So I think that's important. So, my whole life, one of my biggest dreams was to be signed by a major record label. And since I was 14, that's been a dream. When I was young, we had a band. We went on tour. We opened up for Palominos, La Mafia, Grupo Mojado, so many bands back in the day. So music is a part of me. And unfortunately, the time that I got signed by Universal Studios from Monterrey, I had fallen into addiction. So I speak about this openly. It's something from the past. I have no problem mentioning it, so I don't think, Gigi, that's anything strange. I feel completely fine talking about it. So I got signed by Universal in the worst time of my personal life. So, my sister, Isel Barron, was helping me. She was one of my managers, along with Remo Hica, which, rest his soul, he passed away. Um, he was managing, I'm going to talk in Spanish now. Él me estaba manejando, Rubén Mojica, mi hermano El Barrón. Y cuando la compañía de Universal me firmó, desafortunadamente yo estaba en la peor etapa de mi vida. Yo había entrado en adicción de lo que es la heroína, que es una de las sustancias más horribles que una persona puede hacer. Fui a 4 centros de rehabilitación. I went to 4 different rehabs para dejar esta sustancia. Y desafortunadamente fallé. O sea, hice un video de música. Y aquí here's the most incredible thing, Gigi, that a lot of people don't know. That when I got signed by Universal, my father, mi papá, había dejado un disco completo. Las canciones, los arreglos, él tocó casi todos los instrumentos. Lo que yo hice, puse mi voz en esa producción. Y con esa producción me firmó Universal.
Wow.
Increíble, o sea, y eso fue, mi papá falleció en el 92 y me firmaron hace fue casi 12, 13 años. Y te das cuenta que aún que ese disco era tan antiguo, se grabó en los 90s, pero me firmaron. O sea, tanto tiempo pasó, but that comes into the testimony of saying that it shows you that my dad was ahead of his time. Because that album, even though it was recorded in the 90s, I got signed by Universal Studios out of Monterrey with that album. And in that album, there was a duet with Alicia Villarreal. O sea, yo tenía un dueto con Alicia Villarreal.
Wow.
Pero, pues, como te digo, o sea, fue una etapa horrible de mi vida. Y créeme que eso fue parte de la razón que yo no regresé a la música. Porque yo I felt my father.
Yeah.
And because I felt, honestly, that I failed him, I wouldn't even listen to music because I was so disappointed in myself. That's the true story of how that happened.
I want to say thank you to God that you are still alive to tell your story.
Yes.
Some people who get addicted to that or other drugs out there don't survive to talk about it.
Yeah.
So thank God you're here to tell us the story. And thank God Paul Westbrook, Francesca Montalvo Hernandez says, I thought he wanted to sell me a website. And Paul said, no, I need to speak to your husband about his voice. So, so thank goodness Paul Westbrook was just there in time. And God has perfect timing.
He does.
And thank you for sharing that story. Gracias por compartir esos momentos difíciles porque, if anything, this should it go out there, my hope and wish is that people, younger generations, watch this show to learn about our past and learn about who we were and who we are and our culture. That they know that drugs is not the way.
to go.
Um, and you're
Absolutely.
and I will tell you, and I will tell anybody out there, you are listening to Carlos H. Barron talking by the grace of God, because
Yes.
normally you're a lot of
Yeah.
people don't make it through something like that. They just simply don't survive. So
Agree.
thank God for that, and thank you for being a testament that you can get out of it, because that's a tough one. Heroin, wow,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. It's, I mean,
man.
it's funny because I was completely drug free my whole life. And I fell into that substance because a bunch of things had happened to me. But I remember thinking to myself that I was really scared because I thought I might die a heroin addict. And the disappointment that I would be to not only myself, to my family, my mom, and of course my father. He was always in my head, thinking like this, my story cannot end this way. Like I
Yeah.
have to beat it. So I know for a fact that, my father, through God, I was able to beat it because I was homeless. I slept in the streets for a few months. I slept in crack houses for months, and the fact that I'm here is it is a miracle. My mom, every day she prays. She tells me all the time that she'd pray for me, and hoping that God gives me the strength to leave that substance. And thankfully I did. I was very fortunate, and I'm super blessed because of it. I know it. I know that it's very hard to leave drugs, period, and especially heroin. The
Oh my
addiction
gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
is painful. So yeah.
It's crazy. I tell you, I never tried drugs, and I'm going to tell you why. And anybody out there who can resonate with this, I knew early on in my life that I was addicted to chocolate. It was an
Hmm.
addiction. I could tell, like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't be eating this, and I'm eating this. So I thought, if I'm addicted to chocolate, if I try something else, I'll die that same week.
Right.
I recognized in myself that I have an addictive personality.
Yep. Yep.
So, I said to myself, don't even try it,
Yeah.
because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Isel Barron says, y gracias a Antonio Silva, el presidente de Universal, que nos dio la oportunidad. That is, yeah,
Antonio
that's
Silva was the head of Universal at that time, and still is. He's still the head of Universal. He gave us the opportunity. He liked my voice. It's like I look back, and of course there's a part of me that's like, man, you really screwed up, right? But looking at my life and how everything turned out, and if God were to give me the blessing of, my career to take off at any point, I feel now that I'm prepared for it because I wasn't prepared for it back then. I would
exactly.
I would have been lost. So I feel very
Yeah.
that that things happen the way they did, and I have faith that if I keep on singing, something's gonna happen.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Never give up. Hilda Medina Garza says, Él es mi milagro.
Yeah, that's my mom. Yeah,
Oh, and Tina Martinez says you have a guardian angel. That is
yeah.
correct, because that
Thank
is tough. We don't know when we're passing through difficulties. We've been told that we won't understand. We don't understand God's way. Only God knows. And maybe you had to go through this trial
Yeah,
to appreciate more what God has in store for you, and
really.
for you to come back and say, this is not the way. Maybe this is it. Telling
Right.
a generation of people, don't do that. Don't
Yeah.
do that. I ruined my career. I had ruined my chances at that time. And
Hmm.
now, now you're starting again. And with that in mind, Orita, tell us about what you're doing now while I look for it.
Okay, so right now, I mean, like I said, I met my producer Paul Westbrook. He had this one song called "Las Quiero a Todas," and he's like, "Hey, you have a voice. The production's done. It's a banda song." He goes, "Why don't you come over and record it, and we'll get it going?" And I said, "Okay." So I went over to his studio. I sang. We recorded the vocals, and we recorded the music video with Luis Antonio. Did a nice video. We got all the models there. It was a wonderful experience. So we had the song, and we have the video. We put that out, so that's out for people to listen to it. If you get a chance, look for Carlos H. Barron, Las Quiero a Todas. So
awesome. Let me see if I can get a little snip of it. I own no copyrights to anything in this world, so it's for entertainment purposes only. Let me try to share, see if I don't have technical difficulties. Let's see. Here it is. And by the way, let me just mention again, for some reason I can't get on this computer.
Usa Grammarly para comunicarte de forma efectiva y sentir más seguridad en tu trabajo.
Account.
Y esta canción va dedicada para las meras buenas, para las mujeres. Todas me gustan, todas las quiero, todas merecen mis atenciones y mis respetos. Unas muy flacas, otras llenitas, hay más para mí. Todas están hechas unas mamacitas, todas son lindas. Su dulce aroma me hace suspirar. Todas me gustan, de todas me pudiera enamorar. Las quiero a todas por bellas, coquetas, por entronas, pues saben de la vida y el amor. Las quiero a todas felices, ardientes y románticas, se entregan en la piel.
All right, we got a little sip of that, and if I'm not mistaken, the link is here now, and I'll go back to it. The link is right there for those of you who want to listen to it some more. Chore, Armando Chore Najosa, he says, we just recently, I was blessed to have known this. Maybe you said some more, but that's all it's showing in my part. Saludos, Chore. This individual, Armando Chore Najosa, got somebody special. Oh my goodness. It's crazy. Now I have a question. When I first heard it, when Paul Westbrook was telling me, Francesca says he's also an incredible songwriter. Okay. Well, you know, it's in the blood, right? When Paul Westbrook told me you need to hear this song, blah, 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 you know, I said, okay, let me hear it. And I heard it and I thought, wait a minute, that's banda.
Yeah. You know,
but to be fair,
yeah.
Now your dad and my dad both wrote for Ramon Ayala. One of the Quisiera Tener Alas, that's my dad's. ¿Qué más quieres, corazón? Jardín Olvidado. My dad wrote Jardín Olvidado. No way. No, and a lot of people know my dad in Tejano for Ya Te Vi. Ya Te Vi, Ya Te Vi, Ya Te Vi. Elsa Garcia made it blow up into the world. But Ramon Ayala's songs went into banda. And one of them was Jardín Olvidado. Larry Hernández, Julio Preciado, even Valentín Elizalde, Quisiera Tener Alas, I think, or Jardín Olvidado. Valentín Elizalde, I mean, went into banda. So that's curious. And I thought, well, that makes sense. Because if you know, a lot of bandas pick up from Ramon Ayala, any of his stuff, and definitely your dad wrote for Ramon Ayala, so that's kind of the same style. It would make sense to go into banda because, I mean, I'm sorry, but they get a lot of hits.
You know, banda wasn't, you know, I recorded the song because Paul was like, hey, the song's already done. It's a good song. The production's done. Just put your voice on it. So it was like, it would happen quickly, you know? But we're about to do another song with where the person putting it together is Mr. Salomon Robles.
Okay.
Salomon Robles is working on one of the songs that I wrote, which is called Me Sepultaste.
Oh, wow.
He's doing the whole thing. So I'm really excited about that. Paul Westbrook.
It's a strong title already.
Yeah, sepultaste. Paul Westbrook was, he knows Salomon Robles. So real quick, so I'm going to talk in Spanish. I'm going to talk in Spanish, Paul, sorry. So tengo una canción que yo escribí que se llama Me Sepultaste, y el señor don Salomón Robles ahorita está poniendo la canción, la está haciendo él. Y me siento bien contento. Otra cosa que hablé con Salomón hace varias semanas y me contó una historia de mi papá. Me dice que 2 días antes de que mi papá falleciera, él habló con él. Se sentaron y tenían muchos proyectos juntos. Ellos iban a hacer muchas producciones, iban a hacer muchas cosas juntos. Él era buen amigo de mi papá. Y ahí es donde yo siento, o sea, el apoyo de las amistades de mi papá. La verdad, el día que Salomón me dijo que me iba a ayudar, me sentí, no sé, o sea, casi lloro pues, del regalo, porque para mí el que él, o sea, me ayude en algo, o sea, un Robles es huge, o sea, es un artista grande. Y tengo muchas ansias de escuchar la canción, pero hay que ser paciente, estoy esperando. So I'm excited that Salomon's doing that.
No, and that's wonderful. And you know what? That's a testament of you keeping on going, especially after what you went through and survived, because you're a survivor. At the end of the day, you're a survivor. And man, échale ganas. It's like my dad said, el músico nunca va a parar de ser músico. I'm sure your dad, till his last day, era músico, con su guitarra, con sus instrumentos, con sus canciones, you know, nunca para. And that's one thing, like I was my dad's backup singer, and I'm not singing right now, but I'm still continuing it. And I feel so fulfilled with this show, talking to people like you that were there, and your dad was there, and learning our own history of our own culture. And that's how we're keeping them alive. So es una bendición. So I'm still, like you said, I'm continuing the music through this podcast, and so that people will, you know, get to know their own history, because sadly, there's a whole lost generation that doesn't know our history. And, and especially like your dad, that he's a perfect example of being Paul, and I had mentioned this, we call ourselves, we're not from Mexico, and we're not from there, and we're not from here, you know, but Juan H. Barron was from there and from here, because he was able to touch both worlds, you know, and sometimes that's very difficult to come by. People do go through, you know, but you have to be really big. Elsa Garcia, she just recently had that giant Nortex, you know, comeback show, and La Mafia goes over there. You know, you have to be really big Tejano to go over there and you know, to make an impact. And so, and your dad went from one border to the other, no problem. So he is the perfect example of what we are. You know, we are both, you know, and well, sadly, the more generations that we are here, you know, we become watered down Mexicans, like, you know, and so, you know, reminding people that we are of Mexican descent. Si te llamas Guerrero, si te llamas Hernández, Hinojosa, Martínez, no eres gringo.
No,
You're not. And even though, like, here in the Valley, we are the major population is Hispanic. Te sales de aquí, te pasas ya Falfurres, and you get a, you know, slap in the face that it's not all, you know. So it's very good, and I'm very grateful that like people like your dad were able to combine it, even if it was through music. That's why I would say music is magic. It can do so many things, and it can bring people together, and your dad did that with his music.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to mention about my father was that, you know, that before he passed away, about a few months, he discovered. He's the one that discovered Alicia Villarreal.
Really?
I discovered Alicia, and also which is crazy because my dad had this like I feel like he was an incredible recruiter. You know, like when you're recruiting talent.
Yeah.
Luis Padilla from Grupo La Firma, the singer-songwriter, incredible singer-songwriter. Luis Padilla, Giras from that play with Límite. They're
Okay.
all, and Gilberto Abrego, which is also a really great songwriter. All these guys with my father. My dad was the older one, and these guys were very young. And my dad, for example, like Luis Padilla, my dad would say that he was going to be famous. That he was a really good songwriter. He was going to do a lot. Now, this was before Luis Padilla had done anything. So Alicia, same thing. Alicia, my dad said that she had an incredible voice and she had incredible talent, that she was going to be famous.
Yeah.
And so my dad did a production for her. He was basically getting it all together. And right when my dad passed away, let me say some of this in Spanish. Mi papá tenía varias personas que era Alicia Villarreal. Él fue el que descubrió a Alicia Villarreal. Descubrió de una manera u otra también a Luis Padilla, a Gerardo Kirris, el Grupo Límite, a Gilberto Abrego, gente con mucho talento. Y toda esta gente era parte del equipo de mi papá. Así que cuando falleció mi papá, when my dad passed away, my mom got, there's two bands. There's more than two bands, but one of the bands was called Taurus. And in that band was Giras, Checo, and Giras, Checo. Yeah, those two. So my mom told them, hey, why don't you go make a band with Alicia? Like for Juan, you know, my dad. And so he got them together. Alicia was like, what do we do? And she's like, let's keep on. And my mom told Alicia, like, you know, we got to keep my husband's dream going. And so they called the Grupo Límite as a tribute to my dad, because my dad wrote a song to La Mafia called Límite. No hay límite en la... So they called the band Límite because of my dad's song. Now,
wow.
To me, what's even more incredible, like it gets more incredible, is that Límite, back then in the 90s, was the first band to sell 1 million copies. Back then, nobody had ever done that. So to me, this was my father's projects, you know? It's like, so it's such a wonderful thing. It's so cool.
Yeah, and it's wonderful that you are continuing his legacy.
Yes.
Through your own music. Paul Westbrook says we are Tex-Mex. Yeah?
That's right. Or Tex-Mex, that's right.
Mex, exactly. Let's see, Giselle Barron says, era el cantante de Tauros.
My dad.
Is it Spanish?
Sí, el grupo se llamaba Taurus, like the car.
Oh, okay.
And en ese grupo estaba Luis Padilla, which is now La Firma, which is very popular, and he's written so many songs. He wrote a bunch of songs for Intocable. There was a while there that Intocable was just pretty much recording his songs. What else? Giras, which is now, he has the band called La Casetera, which is also doing well. So these guys are just, it's awesome. These were all talents that my father had.
Yeah, wow. And well, I see an uprising in venues. I see an uprising in concerts. I see an uprising in dances. Lo que es los bailes, porque los bailes ya, there was a while que no los mirabas. In Tejano. Are you seeing that? Are you out there performing, or are you right now?
No.
Apenas estás en los inicios.
Estoy en los inicios. Ahorita, o sea, estoy agarrando material, grabando canciones. Me gustaría encontrar un grupo. Estoy tratando de ver si puedo encontrar un grupo para ensayar. Pero esa es la parte más difícil, like, encontrar gente que quiera. So, anybody out there that wants to form a band, I'm here, guys. What's up?
You heard it. Contact Carlos Achiparron and you'll be on the road. And I know, see, now I realize how lucky I was. I mean, it was my dad's band. So he took care of everything, you know, and my brother was a keyboard player and my sister was a bass player, you know, and the drummer, the drummer, Sam Lopez, and that's the only one that wasn't family blood. But Yeah, and that was easier when your family is the band. Pues ahí estamos todos, juntos. So it's kind of tough, and then like I said, a lot of people have asked me, Gigi Guerrero, los Chicanos, they want to push it. But los Chicanos ya no existen. Well, los originales sí, and actually Beto Garza, one of the original Los Chicanos. Hello, Beto Garza, he's always watching. Los originales de los Chicanos said the original Los Chicanos are still here. So, but yeah, it's tough to get a band together. Ahora, I knew it was tough even just to get us, que la familia, to get together. Me acuerdo, my sister would be mad. Aldi, where are you? We're supposed to be practicing already. Boy. But so I can only imagine people that are not related to you making sure that they're on time and they're practicing. It's not easy.
No, it's not. I mean, a band is like another family, your family.
Yes.
So I agree. It's not easy.
Yeah, y saludos to everybody out there making it work. I mean, out there in the hustle, porque I mean, it's not easy. And the expenses, no, hombre. No, ya me cansé hablando de todo lo que se tiene que hacer. Saludos to everybody out there. And then things happen like poor Signal got all their equipment stolen. Hijo eso.
I mean, I hope they recovered it. I saw that I think they were performing somewhere.
Yeah.
Happened, but yeah, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's sad, and those are the things that can happen out there. At least lucky they came out with their life. Their lives weren't stolen, only equipment. So at the end of the day, it's all right. But yeah, I do. So now you grabaste banda. Are you going to be looking into pushing it south of the Rio Bravo?
Yeah, I mean, right now, like I said, me and Paul Westbrook recorded another song in banda also. It's called Fría Asesina. Recorded another one. And
Lord.
And,
bien impactantes los títulos, okay.
And we're doing la canción que está haciendo Salomón es norteño. Así que yo pienso que ahorita, en aquel entonces, en los 90s, yo pienso que cuando ibas a hacer un estilo, pues ahí te quedabas. Pero ahorita, por ejemplo, Karim de León, que ha hecho banda, que norteño, que blues, que algo más internacional. Yo pienso que ahorita un artista puede, si eres versátil, puedes cantar banda, puedes cantar norteño, puedes cantar tejano. Así que pienso que están abiertas las avenidas ahí, gracias a Dios.
Yes. Y fíjate, otra vez saludos al muchacho de la bravata, porque él también lo que está haciendo está abriendo los ojos a quizás la nueva generación de audiencia que quizás no seguía esta música o no la había escuchado o no estaba dispuesta a decir a ver quién es o que le interesara. So thank you, because I think he's opening up doors too. Okay, I've got a whole story, a whole book from Armando Chorin Hinojosa, and I'm going to put it up. Espérame. Now, and I'll tell you, one time, bless his heart, Armando Chorin Hinojosa, porque este hombre es tan inteligente, tiene mucho que decir. We were on the phone for 6 hours. Did not realize 6 hours.
What?
Okay, that's gonna go for the records. Okay, so here he goes. I'm gonna put it up. Let me see. Armando Hinojosa. I was very fortunate to have met Carlos H. Barron, and I really liked his voice. I was telling Carlos that I met his dad years ago when he wrote so many beautiful songs. And one time that we were recording at Falcon, he came in and we were really glad to see him again. And he asked us if we were almost done with our album, and we said no. So we were very fortunate that he offered to give us a couple of songs for us to record. Marcos Orozco's was our singer at the time. One of those was, Seymour. Okay. I have to come check over here.
Okay.
Orozco's, one of these songs was Mi Súplica, and we have been talking about doing some recordings together. Ah, so yeah, that's a big story that's a nice story, Mr. Armando Chorin Hinojosa. We can do a part 3.
Right. Right?
took forever with Chore. Right. He's got so much history on a lot of people. Now, I wanted to ask, okay, ya que estás aquí, Armando, Mr. Chore Hinojosa, contéstame esto, because when I heard the batería de Juan H. Barron, se me hizo muy similar al estilo de Juan Hinojosa, de Los Fabulosos Cuatro. What are your thoughts on that? And I'm sure because the style was very similar, they're both following jazz and rock. Mm-hmm. So talk to us, Chore, about that. In the meantime, Paul Westrock chiming in says, sing a verse and chorus of Norteño, please. A ver, que cante, quiere que cante. Si tienes ganas, si no, I'm not going to force you.
Maybe in a little bit.
Yeah. Paul, settle down. It's, you know, as a singer, I think you people expect for you to sing just out of nowhere. Yeah. Pero como tú dijiste, and now what was that quote you said? Because you were practicing. I saw one of your posts. You were practicing. Yeah. What did you say? You'd rather be prepared. What? Tell me.
That I would rather be prepared and not have an opportunity than have an opportunity and not be prepared.
Oh man, I need a shirt. Yeah. I need a shirt that says that. Yeah. That is awesome, man. That is. So for those of you out there that are in the music world, that's a great philosophy to go by. To better be prepared and not have the opportunity than have the opportunity and not be prepared. I think I've had plenty of opportunities where I haven't been prepared.
What happens to all of us? Huh?
You're not revés.
That's life for sure.
Yeah. So no, that's a great philosophy to have. I mean, and it's true. A ver. Oh, hi, Norma. George never answered me. I was asking him if he wanted to co-host, and me dejó en visto. No, I don't know if he saw it or not. Hello, Norma. Norma is her husband is out there, an artist too. George Salazar. I know you know him. Yeah, he's easy. But I hadn't heard of his music until I saw his shirt at Las Vegas, and his shirt caught my eye. And I noticed you have you've been working out. You take care of yourself.
Yes, I have to. Yes.
And then that's part of that's part of being an artist. I think you have to, for your voice to be okay, you have the rest of you needs to be okay.
That's really it for me singing, and it's when you sing, it's a lot of cardiovascular. It's almost like you're running.
Yeah.
So I've been really taking care of myself, and just like I said, try to be ready for in the event that something were to, catapult me into singing more, and so to be ready.
Oh, you will. You know what? Your dad is in heaven pulling all kinds of strings everywhere, and I'm sure it's going to happen for you. Norma Salazar says we're on the road. We were in Ohio to see Lucky Joe. That's right. I saw those pictures. Yeah. Saludos to Lucky Joe. Tell him to come on my show. Tell him to get a hold of me so he can come on. Okay. Sorry. Mr. Carlos H. Barron, we're almost at an hour's time. Normally, I used to do the 2 hours, but I noticed that after the second hour, I'd have to recover the whole rest of the day.
Of course.
I don't know why, because I'm manning all this thing all by myself. So, but I'll gladly stay on another hour if you'd like. But I would want you to, at least at this hour time, I'm going to put on the commercials that I promised my and thank you to my sponsors. While you're doing the commercials, you tell me what you want to talk about, or if you want to say a goodbye to everybody, un saludos or whatever. So let me start my commercials. Here we go. back. And so let me get to some comments first. Mary Lou says, love Stars Driving. That's actually my sister is a manager, part owner of the Stars in Mission. So thank you for being our sponsor, Mary Lou. And the other one is Richard's Pharmacy, where I get all my medication, lots of medication from. So saludos to Richard's Pharmacy. Thank you for sponsoring Giras y Desveladas. Anybody else you want to sponsor Giras y Desveladas? You know, you're very welcome, so that Gigi does not have as many technical difficulties as she usually does. All right. Now, Paul Westbrook wanted you to sing a song, sing a norteño. So are you up for it? Or no?
I mean, let's see, what can I sing? I'm trying to remember. It's because a lot of those songs, like a cappella, doesn't quite.
I know what you mean. It's unless it's like with a mariachi type song, ¿verdad? Que sale.
I could sing like a song. Querida, no me has sanado bien la herida. Pienso en ti todavía. Mira mi soledad, que no me sienta nada bien. Yeah, querida, hazlo por quien más quieras tú. No quiero ver de nuevo luz en toda mi casa.
Yay! Well, you see, the opportunity came up and you were ready for it. Very good. And you know what? You have a very distinct voice. Wherever I will hear that voice, I will know that is Carlos H. Barron. And so that's a very unique sound that you have. Saludos to, kudos to you. So we're up on the hour. What do you want to tell people? What do you want them to know about Carlos H. Barron?
Well, I want you guys to know that I'm here to stay. I'm going to be singing. You're going to be hearing of songs. I'm writing songs right now. A lot of songs. I've been emotionally and creatively constipated, and I feel like it finally opened up. And I'm writing songs. I'm singing. I'm doing this because I feel a passion for it. I feel like it's a calling, not so much because I want to be famous. If that were to happen, great. But I'm primarily doing it because I feel I'm supposed to do it. So there's a big difference. So expect me to hear me sing, hear my songs, hear me sing other people's songs. I'm going to be working really hard. It's something that I'm doing part-time in hopes that it becomes full-time. So, so look out for Carlos H. Barron. Thank you for the support. Some of you guys are sharing my videos, hearing me sing. And I'm going to continue to do that, and just very thankful to all of you for the support you've been giving me. Thank you.
That is awesome. Thank you for coming on the show, Mr. Go ahead.
En español. Quiero agradecerles a toda la gente que me ha enseñado, me está dando apoyo a Carlos H. Barron. Esperen que voy a seguir cantando. Le estaba diciendo a Gigi que para mí esto me he sentido los últimos años en relación a la creatividad emocional, me he sentido tapado, y últimamente como que esa creatividad me está saliendo. Estoy escribiendo canciones cada semana, estoy cantando más y más porque pienso de que es algo que debo de hacer, no necesariamente porque quiero ser famoso, y si eso pasa, qué padre, pero realmente lo estoy haciendo porque siento que es mi deber cantar, expresarme. Es algo que he hecho desde que era niño y lo voy a seguir haciendo. Así que van a ver mucho de Carlos H. Barron. Saludos y un abrazo a todos. Gracias.
Gracias por esa despedida, qué bonita. Y también saludos a todos que, como dices tú, no hacemos esto no necesariamente para ser famosos o hacer dinero, pero porque es nuestra pasión. Y más que nada, para darle honor a nuestros padres que nos iniciaron en este ambiente, en este negocio. Es lo más bonito. Now, one thing that you mentioned that, is very important. Roberto Pulido came on to say to all the youngsters or anybody out there, get educated, get your education, and then have your music as a side gig.
Yeah.
If you go big, great. If you don't, you've got something to fall back on. So those are great words of wisdom. I want to thank you so much, and I'm glad I got to know you more. I got to know about your dad more. Anybody that's interested in looking up Carlos Barron's dad, Juan H. Barron. Oh, okay. Wait. We can't go because we got another. Book by Armando Hinojosa. Just kidding. I'm just kidding with you, Armando. You are so awesome. Yes, let's see. Let's see what he said. Yeah, both Juan Hinojosa and Juan H. Barron were both excellent drummers because of the same thing that both of you were talking about, which was that by learning and doing different styles of music is how a musician or singer can become awesome. Mr. Juan H. Barron was one of the finest musicians and songwriters that we respected very much. Not only was he that to us, but he, and just like your dad, they had a heart of gold. That is so awesome for you to say that.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And you know who else has a heart of gold, Mr. Armando Chore Hinojosa. Thank you so much for chiming in. This guy is incredible. You are a legend. You are a legend, living legend. Que Diosito te cuide mucho, because you've got a lot to say, and your word is solid because you were there. You are an expert. You're just brilliant in this genre, and we're so lucky to have you still around. Que Diosito te bendiga y te cuide mucho. All right, we're gonna take off with that. Thank you for everybody that's watching. Again, you can watch it on Facebook, you can watch it on YouTube, and you can watch it on Tejano TV. Remember, if you don't have a Roku TV, it's a Roku channel, but you can also download it as an app, Tejano TV. You can go into tejanotv.com as well and go into the channel Giras y Desveladas, Tours and Sleepless Nights. I want to thank you again to everybody. Saludos and God bless you. Take care. Have a wonderful Sunday. And we'll see you next Sunday, si Dios quiere. Hang in there. I'm going to put on the outro and then and you hang on a little bit. Bye, everybody. We'll see you.
Guys.